Okay, this is funny, or at least I think it's funny. Take a look at this. Okay, so Inmenham replied with a video to my video on debunking determinism. Again, he wasn't polite enough to attach to my video or even put my name in tags, but he did reply to it. And I went and made a comment on his reply video, and I said, "You are still ignoring the problem. Huge numbers of very smart and well-equipped people have studied radioactivity for decades, and none can explain why identical entities have behaved differently and unpredictably. I have great difficulty in seeing any difference in this denial of reality from the faith of the religionists." And he replied,
"Fuck you."
and then I went and tried to say something to someone here. I don't think it was him. And as soon as I finished my comment and hit post comment, it said something about you cannot post comments to someone who has blocked you or something like that. I don't remember what it said exactly. I think that's the first time I've ever tried to comment to someone that had blocked me. But anyway. Then, the next day, I go to my subscriptions, and it has these recommendations of channels that they think I would like. And guess who YouTube thinks I should like? Ta-da! I don't know if you think that's as funny as I do, but I think it's hilarious. Okay, well anyway, I do stand by what I was saying. In fact, I'll make it a little stronger. What Inmenham is selling is a religion. It's got its dogma, and if you don't adhere to his dogma, then you're anathema. It's just that simple. And really the bottom line of what he's selling is, life sucks, your life sucks, and the only way out is for you to end it while he watches. I mean, that's the bottom line. He's got all this theory that goes along with it. What do they call it? The canon? The canon of Gary? But seriously, that's what he's selling. You ought to off yourself. So, yeah, he's going to be offended by that. But I got to tell it like it is. Speaking of Inmenham, yesterday he said something that I totally agree with. I think he was spot on, right on the money. But unfortunately, I can't remember what it was. So that's too bad. But anyway, he did say something today that I don't quite agree with. So let's listen to some of this.
Whatever, and could have just been such a unique circumstance that led to this happening, this manifestation of complexity, and that's what it is. It's just a manifestation of the monkeys with typewriters. You take 1 million monkeys for 1 billion years and have them just whapping keys, and eventually.
That part's not so bad. But when he talks about a unique circumstance, he started off a little bit before that, describing the Earth as being so unique. But when life started, the Earth was not so atypical for what we see elsewhere, even in this solar system, and is likely to be ubiquitous in the galaxy, which is a lot of methane, a lot of CO2. The water was a lot fresher. It wasn't nearly as salty as it is now. In the oceans. Obviously, fresh water that comes as rain is going to be fresh water, but the oceans were a lot less salty. So it was a completely different environment that life started in, like 3.5 billion years ago, and it was a more common environment. It was nothing like the Earth today. Life on Earth today could not get started. He's gonna start talking about oxidation, which I think he means actually oxygen rather than the oxidation reaction, which doesn't necessarily involve oxygen, but oxygen would have been pretty rare, very rare, when life started on Earth.
they'll hit a chain of keys that will produce a coherent sentence. I don't think they could do Shakespeare, but who knows? Yeah, it's just going to happen, you know. But it takes billions and billions and billions of permutations for you to have that circumstance. And
no argument there. I don't think there was anything we would call an animal, a multi-celled animal that was on Earth more than, what, 500,000, 600 million years ago? So that means from 3.5 billion years ago to about 600 million years ago, all that there was bacteria. All the interactions on Earth were taking place between bacteria. There was nothing else doing anything. So that's a lot more than millions and millions or billions and billions.
It's something matter does. Matter stops here. This is where matter likes to be, in just kind of this chemical state where it's you know, mixed into compounds that just kind of stay the same for, you know, hundreds or even millions of years. They just stay in that form until something blows them up or particulates them and blows them back into space or does something else because a meteor hits or something else. But that's what chemistry is doing. It tends to stay in stable arrangements over very long periods of time. And yeah, that's not very conducive to, you know.
Well, life is the exception to that. Once you get life, once you get complex life, like in more advanced bacteria, God knows when they came along, maybe a billion years after life formed or something. I don't have a time scale for this, but once you get enzymes in living things, then there's a different kind of chemistry going on, and it's not seeking the most stable state anymore. It's those enzymes are designed to make reactions run uphill, and that's the wondrous thing about life.
Robot building. Yeah. So again, it's just part of the context, you know, and people just keep arguing it. You know, they have all these are non-arguments. I mean, they argue that, you know, the life on this planet would consume any new life that ever tried to arise. And you could just make the counter-argument that there's just this equal probability that some new life form would be insidiously efficient in capitalizing.
Well, I don't know where you get equal probability, and I don't see why you're basing your assumptions on a probability or a possibility, which is what you're doing. You have said, and I don't think I need to play this anymore, I can quote you on this. You have said that life only happened one time, and that was it. Therefore, it's very rare. But we don't know that. We have no evidence, one way or the other. All we know is that we are descended from the ultimate survivors of that race. Life could have formed thousands of times, and the most efficient one is the one that is ultimately responsible for us. And it couldn't happen again once Earth was changed by life, as it happens, cataclysmically for most life, to alter the atmosphere to be highly oxygenated. Once that happened, it was a disaster for almost everything, except those forms that were just by happenstance genetically adapted just the right way to be able to live through that and deal with oxygen, because oxygen is a deadly poison. Even to us, it's still a deadly poison, except that we are designed to deal with it But in the wrong place in our tissues, oxygen is catastrophic. That's true for everything we know of, or just about everything. Never say everything, because there's always an adaptation that makes an exception. I mean, we've got single-celled organisms that live on bleach, for Christ's sake. What do they call it? Cryptococcus or cryptosporum or something like that. It's actually not a bacteria. It's a one-celled organism. It actually lives on bleach. It eats the stuff. It's amazing. So it's something we don't know the answer to. And I'm happy to say we don't know. But Inmenham always has to say, well, this is the most probable, in my opinion, so this is what we're going to base our religion on. And it is a religion, I'm saying it. Again, it's a religion. Because it's based on faith. Faith in himself. That he has the right answer.